Welcome back to Star Guides. My name is Byronic, and today we are looking at the recently announced recommended system specs, what that means for you, and where to go from here. If you're planning on playing the fast approaching dogfighting module, sit back and get ready for the drop. On March 18th, associate producer at Cloud Imperium Games, Travis Day, replied to a user question regarding planned system specifications for the upcoming dogfighting module. In his response, Travis stated the following: a new Haswell i7 around the 4770K, 16GB of RAM at 1600 MHz, a GTX 680, and a solid-state drive. Further down the thread, he confirms this is at 1080p resolution, and that if you own a 4K monitor or multi-monitor setup, you're going to be looking at SLI. Now, what does that mean for you and I? Well, it should be immediately noted that these specifications were for high settings at 40 FPS in the DFM. That being said, you can all take a collective sigh of relief. While these specs are higher than your average gaming rig, most players should be perfectly fine playing with what they currently have at medium or low settings. To go into further detail, I see two main reasons why Travis recommended higher than average specs. First, Star Citizen is being developed for future tech. This goal is to have a game that lasts 10 plus years, and they're building their game around next generation hardware. What does that mean? It means to achieve high and ultra settings in a fully released version of Star Citizen, you're going to need an 800 series graphics card or an AMD equivalent. The second reason I see the dogfighting module having such high recommended specs is that it is indeed an alpha. Alpha and beta versions of a game are almost always unoptimized, which is typically fine-tuned far closer to release. This typically means resources are not allocated efficiently, memory leaks are a possibility, and many other technical mishaps. In any case, you should both expect and understand this concept before getting into your cockpit. Now, Travis Day also answered a few "will my computer be able to handle it" questions. I want to go over a few so we can look at what you can expect day one. First up is Soulshot96, who issued the following specs: an i5 3570K at 4.2 GHz, 8 GB of RAM, a GTX 780, and a bit of overclocking mixed in. Travis states that he should be perfectly fine depending on his selected graphic settings. The reason I use this as a first example is because Travis states at the end that Star Citizen in its current form is most taxing on the GPU. This can be very important if your current system is bottlenecked at your GPU and you're looking for an upgrade. Up second is Skywanderer, who presented the following specs: an i7 3770, 8 GB of RAM, and an overclocked 280X. For those unfamiliar with the Radeon R9 280X, it's very similar to the GTX 770, except that many benchmarks put the 770 slightly above the 280X. Travis responded to Skywanderer and confirms he can run the game on high and potentially on ultra. That sounds fantastic, though it would have still been nice if he put an estimate on what FPS could be obtained with that particular setup. The final example is from Accuser, who offered his specifications, which included an i5 3570K, a GTX 660 Ti overclocked, and 8 GB of RAM. Travis responded directly and states that his system will run the DFM just fine, but that he won't be able to run it on max settings. He again reinforces the importance of your GPU, stating that if anything, your bottleneck will be there. So now that you know what to expect, here's my recommendation for you. Don't do a single thing. Do not run to Newegg, Tiger Direct, or Micro Center to pick up a shiny new part. I say again, do not upgrade your computer right now. The only legitimate reasons you should upgrade is if 1. You are a son of a Saudi oil tycoon, or 2. Your primary source of gaming is a public library computer. The reason I say this is simple. If you want to upgrade your computer, fine. Just wait till the end of 2014 before you do. First, the next in line in hardware will be available by then, potentially including the 800 series from NVIDIA, and second, current hardware like the GTX 770 will be cheaper, making high-end rigs far more affordable. This is honestly the best piece of advice I can give you. In the far future, I will be publishing videos which cover computer builds from low to high-end rigs. I currently own a GTX 770, an i7 3770K, 16 GB of RAM, and most of my system is overclocked. Now that I told you mine, How about you tell me yours? Post your gaming PC specs in the comments below, and I'll try to answer those fans who are curious if their computers can handle it. That's it for this Star Guide. I want to thank you very much for watching. My name is Byronic, and that is it.